Hi everyone, today we're talking about Uber stock and if Uber stock is a buy. Now, Uber stock is a stock that I've kind of been watching quite a bit, and it's a stock that is pretty much a brand new IPO, and it's also a stock that I've not actually talked about on this channel, and it's kind of a stock that is being talked about quite a bit at the moment, and at the moment it's actually dropped to new lows, and that's one of the reasons why we are talking about it. And if you don't know what Uber is, Uber Technologies is an American company that basically offers taxiing service, and they've recently gone into Uber Food, which will basically, if you're that lazy and you want to go get a takeaway, but you can't be bothered, someone will go pick it up and drop it off at your house. But they're mainly known for a taxiing service, and that's kind of where they've come from. Now, when we look at the stock, it's a recent IPO, like I said, and it IPO'd, I think, on Friday the 10th of May, which isn't too long ago. It's only a couple of months ago, and it IPO'd at the price of $41, and that's where it closed at on the Friday. And now, when I'm recording this video, Uber is just below the $34 mark, and it is dropping quite a bit, and that is mainly due to earnings and the amount of cash that is bleeding out of Uber at the moment, and it's pretty much not forecast to change anytime soon, and that's kind of why people are kind of getting out of the company and selling them shares overall. Another thing as well is that we've got people that are currently holding shares at the moment that are not able to sell it, and there come certain dates as well, and they'll be able to sell them shares, and that's one of the things that can kind of push the company down, and that's kind of one thing that's being focused on. But another reason why is obviously because of the earnings and the amount of money they're bleeding, and can Uber eventually become a profitable company? Now, when we actually just strip it all back and we go to Uber itself, and they actually were doing pretty okay before the IPO'd, and they're kind of expanding like crazy at the moment, which there's nothing wrong with. When we look at Uber itself, the taxiing company side of it, obviously in America there's Lyft, and there's other companies trying to catch on the kind of like how easy it is to use the app and pay for it, but Uber is kind of heads and tails above everyone else. And I use Uber quite a bit, especially when I go on like nights out, and it's so easy, and it's the app, the company, the taxi firm that I use all the time. And one thing that I've still not noticed recently, and this is from the UK and kind of other areas as well, is that Uber actually hasn't expanded everywhere just yet. In the UK itself, it's kind of now got to quite a few of the main cities, but it's actually still not in a lot of towns at the moment, so it still can expand quite far. And it's the same scenario in other countries as well. We can still see Uber expand and Uber Eats expand right now going forward. Another thing as well is with the driverless cars, there's a lot of potential for Uber to go into that market, and that's what people say is eventually you can go in there, and obviously that will cut overheads without having to pay drivers and what have you. But that's quite a bit far down the line at the moment. But if you look at the company itself, it's a pretty decent company. It's definitely a market disruptor with a lot of potential going forward, and it has taken quite a big hit, and it's not the only company to do that on an IPO. When we look at Facebook was hit quite a bit, and people didn't really understand how Facebook worked. And at some point, with the amount of potential that Uber does have, even though it's bleeding cash, at some point, does it come a buying opportunity that with the potential it's worth the risk and what have you? Now, from my personal point of view from Uber is that I generally don't buy IPOs until about a year after the IPO, and I kind of just let the lockups of the shares that are being sold, I kind of like wait for quite a few of them to pass, and it just to kind of settle down. And I have bought IPOs like Alibaba. I bought not too long after an IPO, I don't think. Ferrari was another one that I bought very, very close. That is probably the one after an IPO that I've actually bought the quickest, because I love the potential that was in Ferrari. If you used to watch the channel's videos like a long time ago, you'll know I used to talk about Ferrari a lot. And also Square, the payment company, was another company that I bought after an IPO quite quickly. And I do like growth companies as well. I've kind of gone a little bit more dividend this year, but historically I've been buying a lot of growth stocks, which Uber is. So at some point I'm looking at Uber and I'm going, no, there's a bit of potential here. And in my opinion, I'm not going to buy Uber right now. I'm kind of like watching probably like over the next year, because I never buy an IPO in a year after it does IPO. But when we look at the potential and the revenue increase from Uber, can it change how much money it's bleeding and start going more profitable and push to that, positive EPS? Potentially. It doesn't look like it's going to do it this year. It doesn't look like it's going to do it in 2020 either. But if I'm looking at the stock right now, I'm probably not even going to buy the stock until 2020 at least. But it's one that I'm watching, and like I said, at some point I kind of look at Uber and I'm like, with the potential upside from this company, it might be worth getting in at some point, just like how Facebook was. Uber, like Facebook when it IPO'd got a lot of hate and people didn't understand the money side of it, from making money from adverts. And Uber's kind of similar. A lot of analysts are kind of like, I looked at on CNN forecasts actually for Uber, and they're actually pretty good. A lot of people are offering like quite high upside on Uber, which I was like, whoa. Like I thought it'd be quite negative. I thought it'd be like a like carbon copy of like Tesla's like analyst ratings, but it was actually pretty good. But at some point, like I say, I think there could be some upside in Uber, and it's one that I'm definitely watching over the next year, and I might see what happens in 2020. But at the moment, like I say, Uber isn't a buy in my opinion, but looking at the potential for it in the future, maybe 2020, it's one on my watch list right now. So we'll see what happens. But I thought I'd talk about Uber because I've not talked about it on this channel yet, and I know a few people are interested. So if you were looking kind of like my opinion on Uber today, I hope it did help you and it gave you a little bit of information. But kind of that's just my opinion really, and like I say, always make your own opinion, research the stocks, but that's kind of my opinion on Uber today. So I hope it did help you. If you could give the video a like, subscribe, and I'll probably see you on the next video.